fellas, children of all ages, welcome to Robert's Porch Show. I'm here, it's Robert. NASCAR's all-time wins list. Not the Cup Series. All of NASCAR. Any veteran NASCAR fan the top 10 all-time wins, Richard Petty, David Pearson, Jeff Gordon, Cale Yarborough, Bobby Allison, Darrell Waltrip, Jimmy Johnson, Dale Earnhardt Sr. You could run down typically the top 10. Well, I looked at all NASCAR history. Now we are celebrating the 70th season in NASCAR. And what we know is NASCAR started in 1949. The NASCAR Strictly Stock Series. We all know Bill France Sr. along with a bunch of owners and whatnot met at the Streamline Hotel in Daytona Beach, Florida, hammered out NASCAR. What some people don't know, before the 2 years prior to that, there was a National Association something another championship stock car or something. It wasn't NASCAR, but it was another form of motorsports that Bill France Sr. owned. The 1947 champion in that was Monty Flock. The 1948 champion in that, is like a modified type, was Red Byron. And then he was also the first, what we consider modern day Monster Energy Cup Series champion, first ever. So I looked at all forms of NASCAR. The NASCAR Cup Series, obviously, started in 1949. The NASCAR Xfinity Series, which started in 1982. The NASCAR KME World Truck Series, which started in 1995. The K&N Pro Series East, which started in 1987. The K&N Pro Series West, which started in 1954. The Whelen Modified Series, current day, which started in 1985. The NASCAR Convertible Series from 57 to 59. The Southwest Series from 86 to 06. The Southeast Series from 91 to 06. The Busch Series North from 1979 to 1985. The Grand National East from 1972 to 73. And then the Northwest Series from 85 to 06. A lot of those series have had multiple names over the year. The Xfinity Series was the Busch Series. The K&N Pro West Series was the old Winston West Series. The K&N East Series, which was the Busch North, the Busch East Series, different names. So I went through all these series and came up with the 10 most NASCAR wins. Now, one of a special note, Richie Evans, who passed away in 1985, was one of the greatest modified champions of all time in NASCAR. Unfortunately, there are places that I've been researching, I wasn't able to find the bulk of his wins. I know it's upwards of 300 to 400 feature wins in the modified series, so he is not on this list due to the fact that I wasn't able to find the information. Number 10, Mike Stefanik, 86 victories from 1985 to 2004. He's a 7-time Whelen Modified champion, a 2-time K&N East Series champion. He had 12 wins in the K&N East Series and 74 Whelen Modified wins. Number 9 on the list, Bobby Allison, 95 victories. He raced from 1961 to 1988. He's a 1-time Cup champion. He had 84 Cup Series victories, 2 Xfinity Series victories, 6 Grand National East, and 3 K&N West. Number 8, good old DW, Darrell Waltrip, 97 career NASCAR victories. He raced from 1972 to 2000. He's a 3-time Cup Series champion, 84 Cup wins, and 13 Xfinity Series wins. Number 7 on the list, Mark Martin, 97 wins throughout NASCAR from 81 to 2013. No championships. We all know the story. In 1990, he was fined 25 points at Richmond for illegal manifold, which the carburetor bracket wasn't welded, and it should have been based on the rules then. So he got penalized. It didn't help with the performance of the car, but he was still penalized 25 points, lost the title by 15, and then NASCAR changed the rule and it didn't have to be welded. One of the greatest drivers in NASCAR history, NASCAR Hall of Famer. He had 97 wins through all of NASCAR, 40 in the Cup Series, 49 in the Xfinity Series, 7 in the Truck, and 1 in the Northwest Series. And hundreds of victories in the All-American Speed Association, ASA, where he cut his teeth in Wisconsin, Michigan area. Number 6 on the list, Jeff Gordon, 98 victories. From 1990 to 2016, 4-time champion, 93 Cup wins, and 5 Xfinity Series wins. Jeff Gordon, announcer on NBC right now for the 500 this year. Great announcer. I know there's rumors going forward that once his announcing career is done or his current contract, that he'll be running Hendrick Motorsports. I've always thought that was a possibility when he retired, due to the fact he owns half of the 48 and he owns half of the, technically wouldn't it be the 9? Because the 24 team became the 9 team and the 5 team became the new 24 team. But more than likely he'll take over Hendrick Motorsports and he'll be the new Rick Hendrick, which is just fascinating for him to come up in a team like that and did not start racing with Hendrick, as everyone probably thinks. He started with Bill Davis Racing in the number 1 Baby Ruth car in the Busch Grand National Series. Number 5 on the list, Dale Earnhardt Sr., 99 career victories from 1975 to 2001, 7-time champion, 76 Cup wins, 21 Xfinity Series wins, 1 K&N West, and 1 Busch North Tour win. All right, top 4. Number 4, David Pearson, the Silver Fox. 107 career NASCAR wins from 1960 to 1989. A 3-time Cup Series champion. 105 Cup wins, 1 Xfinity Series, and 1 Grand National East. Number 3 on the list. Might not be a surprise to everyone, but was sure a surprise to me. Kevin Harvick has 108 NASCAR wins. Started in 1991. He is a 1-time Cup Series champion. He's a 2-time Xfinity Series champion and a 1-time Winston West, now currently known as the K&N West Series champion. 37 Cup wins, 46 Xfinity Series wins, 14 Truck wins, 7 K&N West Series wins, and 4 Southwest wins. Number 2 on the list, the second most winningest driver in NASCAR history. Kyle Busch, 184 wins from 1991 to current. He has 1 Cup Series championship and 1 Xfinity Series championship. He has 43 Cup wins, 91 Xfinity Series wins, which he's the all-time leader in, 49 Truck Series wins, which he's second to Ron Hornaday Jr., 1 K&N East Series. Number 1, he is the king of stock car racing. He is the king of NASCAR, the legend, Richard Petty, Hall of Famer. 204, 4 more wins than most people realize. 1958 through 1992, 7-time champion, 200 Cup wins, 3 K&N West Series wins, and 1 Convertible Series win. Now, during the K&N West Series victories, there were multiple times where Richard Petty, Bobby Allison, it would be a crossover event between the West Series, Winston West, and the Cup Series. The cars was different. So you could pick the car you drove, either your Cup car or your Winston West car. Whatever car you started the race in is the points that went toward that division. So if you started in the Winston West car and you won, it was a Winston West win. If you started in a Cup car and you won, it was a Cup Series win. Bobby Allison has a couple wins that way. Richard has 3 that way. So throughout the history of NASCAR, there was a lot of crossover like that early on. Now they won't do it, but back in the day they did it. So, now what I want to see NASCAR doing, speaking of crossover, is I came up with the idea of having, you have the weekends now where you have the trucks and the Xfinity Series and the Cup Series, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Just like you do at Daytona. Tomorrow's the Daytona 500. Last night was the Truck Series race. Today is the Xfinity Series race. You had the ARCA race last week. It's come up with a mega weekend where you have all your divisions. The Cup Series, the Xfinity Series, Truck Series, both K&N, the East and West, and the Whelen Modified Series. Well, there's one track where all these series either have raced or will race. And it's in an area where the series has been, the Cup Series does not go. Iowa Speedway is the speedway I'm talking about. Currently, the Cup Series does not go to Iowa. It's a 78th mile short track. Well, they go to Chicago and they go to the West Coast. So it's on the way around tracks. The Xfinity Series currently goes to Iowa. The Truck Series goes 2 times to Iowa. The K&N Series has a dual competition with the West and the East in Iowa. The Whelen Modified Series goes to Illinois. I believe they're in Illinois or Ohio as far as they come. So it's not that much farther. Create a crossover weekend, a weekend for the fans, where you have all 5 divisions, Iowa Speedway, center of the country. Have it. You could take every series and make it a spot on the schedule and just do it. Do it on a holiday weekend. I know Memorial Day is the 600, and July 4th is Daytona. Labor Day is Darlington. There's other holidays throughout the calendar where a lot of people are off on, like Columbus Day, President's Day, that kind of holiday, kind of the secondary holiday. What would it be? President's Day you really couldn't do because it's this Sunday and Iowa's cold. August, September, October, in that neighborhood you could find I don't have a calendar for me, look at all the like Columbus Day type of deal and set it up, you don't even have to really you could do a Friday, Saturday, Sunday and make a destination out of it. You could have a series race on Friday night, 2 series on Saturday, maybe a triple header on Saturday, and then a Cup Series on Sunday. But anyway, I'll wrap up the NASCAR all-time wins list, top 10. Stay tuned for the Daytona 500 preview. Make sure you check out on Rubber Sports Show the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series playoff prediction, which Johnny Sauter won the truck race. I picked him to make the playoffs. Yep. The NASCAR Xfinity Series playoff prediction, and then also the NASCAR Cup Series playoff prediction. Make sure you check out the Daytona 500 preview. As always, thanks for watching Rubber Sports Show. Now just have a great day. Have a spiffy day. Rubber Sports Show, your YouTube leader in sports channel content.